Ladies and gentlemen, can you guys give me a hell yeah? Can you guys give me a whoo? Oh, hell yeah! Hi YouTube, hey, welcome on in. Today we're gonna go ahead and react to Oregairu episode number 3. There's actually a number of questions that I have for this entire series. I'm loving the show. I'm actually really liking the show. As much as people try and go ahead and say like, hey, you know what, this show's kind of dumb, it's a romance show, whatnot. Let's put that criticism aside because I actually really like the way that some of these relationships are being presented. I'm liking the way that they're starting to connect and disconnect, and the way that we're starting to go ahead and show a lot of these, like the importance of connection, especially in high school. But my main question is, are we going to see Hachiman regress? By regression, I mean, are we going to see Hachiman all of a sudden start realizing that, you know, he is starting to make connections and then cut everything off and be like, nope, this is too much responsibility. This is too much for me right now. I need to take a step back. I need to go ahead and breathe. I need to go ahead and do this or that. You know, like, where are we going to go ahead and see that grow? So I hope you guys come through and enjoy it. Sit back, relax, grab a snack, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be a long one. We're going to sit, we're going to talk, we're going to analyze, we're going to go through the entire thing. I hope you guys are ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Womp womp. How many of you guys used to sit out during PE? Whether it was like the activities or whatnot, you just didn't want to go ahead and participate in that environment. You just didn't have the energy for it. And I think that that's one of the biggest regards in that, right? Which is social pressure. If I were to ask you guys, how many of you guys have any form or have a form of social anxiety? Me, because I was lazy? Sure, it could be because you just didn't want to go ahead and do it. How bad does it get in environments like this? Like when you have to do a presentation or when you have to be around your peers. What's up, Brady? How you doing? How do you guys usually deal with it? Who doesn't? Actually, Keikaku, it's interesting to know. We all have differing levels, right? It's like a spectrum overall, from one to the other. And when we're going through that, one of the key words to jump into is how are your coping mechanisms or coping skills set up for you to go ahead and deal with it? For example, if I were to ask you guys this, let's go ahead and do a continuum. Actually, that's what my workshop today was about. It's a lot about like developmental aspects. In case you guys don't know, I have to attend workshops every so often, like major conferences for either psychological development or developmental milestones for kids, adults, vulnerable populations, and so on and so forth. One of the key things that they brought up was this. How many of you guys grew up with both parents in the household? If you guys did, drop a Dorito. I did. I'm not gonna lie, I did. How many of you guys grew up not having to worry that much about, say, finances or money, or your parents didn't necessarily have that stress, that internal stress to deal with any of that you didn't pick up as a kid? I didn't. My parents lived paycheck to paycheck all the way until when I was like, you know, even today, they still do. You know, it's still something that they go through. How many of you guys had access to a private university or specialized tutors, private school, you know? How many of you guys actually had more than 3 friends? I'll be honest, I did. There you go. How many of you guys actually played? And by that, I mean like you were able to hang out and be around groups of friends and play with them. I did. As a kid, 3 whole friends, that's a lot. How many of you guys, your parents or family members, caregivers, whatever, were actively involved in you doing sports and you going out there and whatever sport, extracurricular activity or whatever, were your parents actively involved in it? My dad, generational karate, generational martial arts, I had to take part in it, so technically, yes. We can go on. I can ask a literal 10 questions and go through with it. What I'm gauging right here is a starting line for abilities to cope. We talk a lot about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We talk a lot about this beautiful masterpiece here that you guys see me bring up on screen all the time. How is it a majority of us only have 2, 1, 4, 5, however many things? We all have a different starting line. So we all have different abilities to cope and resilient with the stressors at hand. This is why we all have different abilities to cope with our environment, with our stressors. This is why when people say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling a little anxious right now. And you hear someone be like, oh, dude, that's fucking shit. You'll get over it. No. They have a different starting line than you do. I have a different starting line than some person out there. We all have different areas of resilience, and this is why empathy is important. And this is why alluding it to social anxiety and seeing Hachiman step out like that, it makes me wonder, right? Does this come from acute stress, which is from some of the instances that he's had, or PTSD at this point, because it's been over couple of weeks or months or years? Or has it always been this way for him, where he now wants to go ahead and reside in the background? For you as well. How many of you have actually ever been to a counselor or a psychologist? And I'm asking this genuinely. How many of you have noticed, hey, you know what? I have some symptoms of maybe depression, anxiety, or whatnot, but I've never had the ability to go get checked out. Acute stress. That's the number one main thing. And I think like even since Brady's in the chat, he's another therapist, amazing dude. Fucking love him to death. He can agree to this. Dude, the amount of stigma that is still out there, even today, is huge. People posting random things out there that have nothing to do with like actual psychological elements. Huge. People going out there and being like, guys, 10 dark psychological tricks for TikTok. And it not being true. It's not having any value for helping people out and people going through it, right? For the rest of you guys, though, have you noticed any of that? For example, anxiety symptoms. Do you have DID? Exactly, Brady. How many of you guys have noticed aspects like that? Like anxiety, stress when you're not supposed to be, depression maybe, so on and so forth. Maybe some symptoms of depression, right? And maybe you're like, hey, you know what? I've always wanted to go get it checked out, but never had the chance, never had the opportunity to. So this is one of the key areas why I'm bringing this up. I look at Hachiman and I see what he's going through and I'm like, dude, I feel you, because in high school, I used to love going through like a bunch of things. Because when am I not stressed and anxious? Well, Lena, that's where you should go see your local mental health professional, you know? I'm all here for advocating and psychoeducation and whatnot, but I am not a replacement for therapy. I'm a lot more of just like, you know, showing you guys everything that's going on. I love you guys. You guys are the fucking world and this is a wonderful support group. But if you guys have the opportunity to seek out mental health from a professional in your area, please do so. Sorry, that was a long-winded rant in that, but it's for a purpose. For example, I suck at playing tennis, where if you give me the ball, like I'm semi-decent at ping pong, and others can attest to this, like I can hit the ball back, we can have a good couple of rounds. But if you guys give me the ability to go out and play some tennis, I'm just gonna hit the ball, bro. I'm gonna hit the wall, and like if you haven't, I might bring another ball into the court. I might hit your ball with the court, like with the racket, you know, it ain't gonna be decent, you know? Looking at situations like this, how do you guys, back in high school, back in college, do you guys had a friend that you would hang out with? Was it a group, or was it like multiple people, or no one? And even to today, I want you guys to reflect on this question. What does your group, your support group, or your support structure look like for you? Thank you, brother. It's funny, man. It's funny. In case you guys don't know, I always love pointing this out. Brady's another psychologist, another therapist, incredible individual, absolutely phenomenal. Went to the same school together, has his own channel, incredible individual. We pretty much done everything together. My best fucking friend. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, we played ping pong quite a lot. Let's continue.
完璧すぎる。これぞ俺が長きにわたるぼっち生活の中で得得した好きなやつとペア組め対策。
Now, to be fair, this is probably one of the greatest aspects or things to do. When I first started playing ping pong, I sucked at it. I sucked so bad. I sucked to the ability where I couldn't return back a serve. What did I do? I literally lifted up the ping pong table in half, and I would just fucking practice day in, day out. Like at nighttime, it was like, you know, 12, 1 a.m. I'd be fucking downstairs playing ping pong and fucking like in college, just hitting it back and forth, being able to go and get a good hand. He can attest to it. Like I was fucking down there just just going ham. Why? Because it helped out like my ability to start feeling a little bit more comfortable in playing against Brady and playing against Omar and some of the other individuals that we were playing against. It helps your ability to grow, especially if you're able to practice with yourself and get up there. Solo ping pong is wild.
調子が良くないプラス迷惑をかけるのダブル文句が相乗効果を発揮する上、やる気だけはあることをさりげなく告げるのがポイントだ。そのうち材木座にも教えてやろう。
大げさだな。偶然スライスしただけだよ。悪い。
Through this, one of the big questions comes to mind, which is, how many of you guys had to ask yourself this question, or were asked this question by society, by others around you, by the way that high school is structured? Hey, are you really a man? Are you a manly man in here? Are you able to go ahead and play with others in that rough way? Why are you stepping out? Why do you gotta be a loner? Are you a manly man? Are you not gonna be in here with us? I'm kind of a girly man, not gonna lie. The reason why I'm highlighting this question is because I'm looking back at the way that like high school is for a lot of people, and this is one of the big things that comes to mind. It's like, for example, this is a question that a lot of people used to throw it out, like, dude, you're gay. right? And it's like, no, that does. What does the one thing have to do with the other? And not in the like carrying the hard connotation of it, but just asking like, are you a man? Are you a manly man? Don't think I have, but maybe I just didn't pay attention. And even through that, like depending on your culture, you get asked this a lot. Like, why aren't you playing with your friends? Why aren't you out there playing the good hard games? Why aren't you out there wrestling? Why aren't you like that toxic masculinity? Yeah, but it also comes with like an area. There's a difference between toxic masculinity and masculinity in general, right? Like for example, if you want to play with your friends, cool, go play with your friends. It's not an issue. But the moment that you try and shove it or try and go and present it in front of others, whew, that can be a bit rough. My friends at work recently called me the most feminine, manly man she knows. Oh no, it's still present today, and that's like I'm looking at this and I'm like, I know a lot of people that would play by themselves, and this is because of this question, of that question that was up there. They would literally separate themselves and distance themselves from others in dodgeball, in chess, and whatever because they didn't want to go ahead and deal with that. It was never a question for me, rough because of my interest. Yeah.
まず魔球だべ今の隼人君パないわこれ俺もやるしかないでしょいきます魔球スライサー
Oh, bruh.
これ引き谷君取ってこんない
They don't even know his name. No, they don't even know his name. Bro, how long have you been in this class? They don't. Ooh.
誰だよ引谷君
ありがとね引谷君
Hikitani-kun. Oh no.
なんで俺会釈とかしてるのどうやら本能的に葉山が上と判断してしまったらしい我ながら卑屈だ
Hey, you, this double mask. Is he mad because of this? Because he put, like, he's literally saying it's a social hierarchy. It's a social power dynamic. Or is he mad because this is the other aspect of himself that he's throwing out there? The aspect of himself that bows to maybe try and connect. The aspect of himself that is still a little like, you know, there's still an aspect of trying to be decent with other people or trying to care for other people. And he wants to go ahead and be an isolationalist. He wants to go ahead and be in isolation. Which is not good for any mental health state at all, right? You can have moments of isolation, but you also got to connect with someone in some shape, way, form, whatever, right? But is he mad because he did this with another person, as he's saying, social hierarchy-wise? Sure, that can have a little bit of validity. But is he also mad because it's an aspect of himself that he's trying to go ahead and detain and repress and not show? How degrading. Degrading to whom? Why is it degrading? Why is it degrading to show a little bit of respect towards others? He might not have known your name, and that might have been something that you could have corrected it on, but you did it. Why? Conflict? Sorry, guys. I'm bringing up these questions, these aspects of questions, just so that you guys have an ability to think, process, and go through it with me. Hachiman's just fucking interesting as a character.
気持ちを俺は壁にぶつけた
It's degrading that he didn't correct the guy's name.
壁はつきものである
He chooses a girl, yeah? Does he have to? Well, I don't know. It's sort of what I'm asking. I'm wondering. No spoilers. No spoilers. Does he, though? Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, are you okay with I'm fighting myself on this one. No. Actually, no. How about this? If he chooses a girl, does he choose the right girl? How about that? This is going to sound really weird, but I'm looking at the lyrics now. I know we did a whole little interpretation. It feels like a retelling of an aspect or a story that has come through. I'm assuming that we're going to go through different cycles because there's 3 seasons of this show of like different years, maybe different whatever. Is one of the key aspects or one of the key points or determinants that we have graduation. What do we see here? I know we've talked about this before as well. I want you guys to process this, right? Who's moving and who's actually changing their environment in these shots? What's coming in? Who do we see actively moving versus someone that's like trying to hold steady? Hachiman, as much as someone tries to hold the door down, tries to say that they don't want change, tries to go ahead and be like, I don't ever want to change. I don't want things to change at all. The more they change, the scarier it is. So I'm going to go ahead and lock myself in my door, in my room. And no one's ever going to come in here. No one's ever going to come in here. Nothing can change for me. You know, it'll all be fine. It'll be fine. Guess what? That door that you're in eventually starts coming down. that door you're in, if over time, starts getting rotted away, or people start to force their way in and try to go ahead and have a form of communication with you. In some time, people try and go ahead and, you know, reach out a hand or see what you're doing or see what's going on. That's an aspect as to why I'm looking at this, and I'm like, seeing what's going on in here, and I'm like, okay, is Hachiman an agent, you know, a person, an agent of change for others, or are others like reflecting that back onto him? He's got to cause something in here. They might be together. They might be coming in closer and closer, but Hachiman is more than likely going to cause a divide. Have you ever been with a friend who has started taking the steps in advancing his social life, like literally becoming better, but at the same time has this deep-seated pessimism with him about everything? Over time, does that start to affect the way that you view things, the way that you see things? Has it ever gotten to a point where you're like, dude, okay, stop, right? Because it started getting to you or started getting to your friend group. And then, you know, they might start making progress and, you know, advancing all together. And then all of a sudden that hits again. So it makes me wonder, for this group, especially this triad group that we see here, how long before Hachiman or themselves, and through propinquity, right, the ability to go ahead and connect with one another, and why we connect and why relationships are built, will it actually cause them to start a divide? Either for Hachiman or against Hachiman, or in some regard, even against themselves.
ベストプレイスで昼飯を食う安らぎ。臨海部に位置するこの学校はお昼を境に風向きが変わる。
That's nice.
朝方は海から吹きつける潮風がまるで元いた場所へ帰るように陸側から吹く。この時間が俺は嫌いじゃない。
Yeah, but sometimes you need someone to like come in and just shake up your days, right? Because if that's all you do and you're just standardizing your routine, you just sometimes need someone to come in and be like, hey, like, so there's stuff going on, a little bit of a conversation. Because being alone for a good while, yes, you have your routines, yes, it can feel good, but sometimes we need our foundation shaken a little bit by new introductions. But it's a good mood, yeah, but if you're doing this day in, day out, after a while, it becomes, are you doing this just to cope with the, like, you know, with the day, with what's going on? Or are you doing this because for you, it's just an easier way of like trying to avoid connections? Especially if you're sitting alone, especially if you're out there just observing. I'm just thinking about this through the perspective of, why did Hachiman choose this spot, right? Speaking of shaking things up,
普段ここで飯食ってんだよ。
なんで？教室で食べればよくない？
察しろマジで。それよかお前はなんでここにいんの？
それ実はね、ユキノンとのゲームでちゃん負けして。
Yeah, hello.
俺と話すことがですか？
違う。負けた人がジュース買ってくるってだけだよ。
なんだよかった。うっかり死んじゃうところだったわ。
ユキノン最初は自分の糧くらい自分で手に入れるわ。そんな行為でささやかな征服欲を満たして何が嬉しいの？とか言って渋ってたんだけどね。
まああいつらしいな。
けど自信ないんだって言ったら乗ってきた。
あいつらしいな。
なんか今までもみんなでやってたけど、この罰ゲーム初めて楽しいって思った。
Her imitation is really good.
みんな？うちはノリだな。
感じ悪い。そういうの嫌いなわけ？
うちはノリとかうちは受けとか嫌いに決まってんだろ。あ、うちは揉めは好きだ。なぜなら俺はうちわにいないからな。
I'm not in.
っていうか、ヒッキーだってユキノンと話してる時、うちわノリ多いじゃん。私入れないなとか思う時あるし。雪
の人は別だ。ありゃ不可抗力だ。
どういうこと？
人の力ではどうにもできない事態という意味だ。難しい言葉使ってごめんな。違う、言
葉の意味がわからなかったんじゃないから。バカにしすぎだから。私だってちゃんと入試受けて総武校に入ったんだからね。
I feel like she's also learning a lot in the way that she's treating him and the way that she's reacting to him. I guess I'll ask this question for you guys. Fuck it. I actually love her. I don't know. What is she doing? And by this, I mean, what is a relationship that you're trying to aim and learn for in your life currently and in her life as well, right? Has she dealt mostly with superficial relationships or in-depth relationships? And in your life as well, are you dealing mostly with superficial relationships that you're doing just to coast on by, or more in-depth relationships where you can have genuine conversations about what scares you about the future? Or do you got to stay up here? Or do you write a line as to like, this is a tiny little ship here, you know, like, woo, right? Do you ride the little boat going up and down depending on the relationships in that regard as well? The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm looking at her and it makes me wonder, is she as a character, in the way that we've seen it, right? She was filled with superficiality in one way as well, in terms of her previous relationships and maintaining appearances and whatnot. But is she searching for that depth? Is she searching for that depth in that regard? Is she trying? Is this why she's approaching Yukino? Is this why she's approaching Hachiman? Because they have something to offer. Because they have an ability to connect with her. Because they have an ability to genuinely be there with her in a way that other people would just disregard or push her aside. I think it's a definite yes. Because I'm looking at her and I think of her as like, I feel like a lot of people would disregard her as like an annoying, like high-pitched character that's Baka. Oh, 30 Baka. You know, like that type of a thing. I don't know why I turned that into gushing, but like, you know, like some over the top shit like that. But I feel like in a way, sometimes you got to wear mask to connect with people. And I feel like her, it's just slowly bringing down that mask. And I don't know why. I feel like there might be more to her, definitely more to her backstory. And it makes me wonder a little bit more about like parents wise and family wise for all the characters so far. What does their family look like? Family dynamics look like? And for all three, right? And then also for them, why is she so attached? Not attached, but open to Heiki. What happened in her regard that propinquity is set there already and there's a clear and definite line of communication?
入試って言えばヒッキーさ、入学式の日のこと覚えてる？
いや俺当日に交通事故に遭ってるからな。
事故？それってさ。
Oh, bro, she knows. Did the accident have something to do with you? Look at those eyes. Bro, okay, look at these eyes. Look at these eyes, brother. She just looks to the side and it's like... Oh, man, get me fucking hyped. Hey, yo, who's this? Wait a minute. Hey, yo, wait, hold on. I actually kind of like her outfit, like her design right there. I know it's a PE outfit, but like just the introduction to this is so soft as well, right? It's like a standard conversation. And then like she just appears and she's like very much out there. And then why you like
Yes. 由比ヶ浜さんと引ヶ谷くんはここで何してるの？別に何も。サイちゃんは練習？部活して昼練もして、確か体育でもテニス選択してたよね。
Adorable.
好きでやってることだし。そういえば引ヶ谷くん、テニスうまいね。
Hold on, let me back it the fuck up. Hold on.
好きでやってることだし。そういえば引ヶ谷くん、テニスうまいね。
Fuck you, chat. Fuck you, chat. I just realized it. I was gonna say, wow, Hichi, wow, you know, able to say like, oh, his name and whatnot. Why is she wearing the boy's uniform? I just thought about, why is she wearing the boy's uniform? Why not? Is it unisex? Because I only saw the guys fucking working out in it. What do you mean? Freedom of clothes. Are they different? Rules are meant to be broken. It's comfy. Okay, but might be. For me, my instinct went to the beginning of the show. Right here, I'll show you guys where my mind went into. So you guys are like, oh no, right? My mind went into this. this to this.
あれ
My mind went into like bloop, bloop, bloop. That's where my mind went into. That's why I was like, at that moment, I realized I fucked up. But wait. Sai-chan, isn't Chan feminine though? Hold on. I might be fucking wrong here. I might be really fucking wrong here. Isn't Chan feminine? Okay, so if Chan is feminine, I might be wrong here. Not always. Is it unisex? Mostly used for girls. A female can call anyone Chan. All right, if you guys were in high school, would you date Sai? Genuine question. Who's like more your type? But also, someone observing you like this and someone knowing your name when everyone else is calling you Hideki Taki-san or whatever. I'm about to make a Spanish song out of him now. Sai could be one of those 100. I know, right, Taro? I know, right? Who would you date if you were in high school? Who's more your type and why? That is my genuine question for you guys. The question of the day: who's more your type and why? Why? But through this, other people have been calling Ichigama-san or whatever, like Hachiman, by the wrong name. But yet they've paid attention. They've seemed to understand more of the dynamics at play, which is for me, it means that someone's been observing you and observing who you are as an individual.
そうなん？うん。フォームがすごく綺麗なんだよ。
Oh.
照れるな。で誰？
Who are you again?
クラスじゃん、信じらんない。同じクラスの
Totsuka Saika. Where's Sensei? Where is the Sensei? Where is the Sensei?
がサイカです。
俺女子と関わりとかないから、なんなら男子との関わりもないまである。
僕、男。
Fuck you, chat. Fuck you, chat. Sometimes it takes a boy to be a best girl. I mean, yeah, sometimes it does, right? Oh. I'm fucking dying. Amen. Amen, brothers. Does that deter people? You have no power here, Comfy.
引っかかった。
嘘何この気持ち。これが男じゃなかったら速攻で告白して振られるところだった。振られちゃうのかよ。どうした？
So cute. I know. I'm not even complaining about it, brother. I'm over here like, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, you can catch feelings for anyone or anything, right? In that regard.
いつもペア組んでる子がお休みで、よかったら僕とやらない？
だからその上目遣いやめろっての。
And also the emphasis as to what's going on here, right? It's interesting that it's giving us the sparkles because this is clearly Hachiman's perspective. And let's talk about it. How many of you guys, a genuine question here, have fallen in love or had a major crush and put on rose-colored glasses, like everything they did was fucking magic, but all the red flags were there? Or there were still aspects that they wanted to work on that they felt like they needed to go ahead and improve on. And you're just like seeing nothing but fucking like, oh, all the red flags are green flags, you know? I'll be honest, it's happened to the most of us, or majority of us at some point in time. The parataxiest of distortions. Yeah, no, pedestal work, whatever you want to go ahead and call it. It happens, and sometimes, especially in high school, when your hormones are rushing and everything, right? My ex told all of her red flags on our first date, and I still went with her, laughed my ass off for rip. I'm aromantic, so I haven't been in love with anyone. Sure. You know, sometimes love comes in different aspects. So if I were to ask you, right, what for you is an aspect that makes you fall in love? Like, what for you would you say, or would you classify, hey, this is an aspect that for me makes me fall in love, or I look for in a partner? For example, for some people, it's intelligence. People find fucking intelligence sexy, and that's sort of what they fall in love with. For other people, it's physical. For other people, it's tone. Yamete. Some people really like the ASMR shit, right? And they really like people who talk really softly, like they're mumbling in your ear and they're like, Daisuki dayo. Or some shit like that, right? Like, everyone has a different thing that they like. I'm seeing sparkles, Ed. That's what I thought, Brady. That's what I thought. You better see them fucking sparkles all over me. Hey, yo. Like, everyone has different aspects or things that they look for in a relationship, or they have different checklist of things. So that's sort of why I'm bringing it up. Like, for you guys, what is your classification of things that you look for where you start to notice, hey, you know what? This is an aspect where I put on my rose-colored glasses. I start to go through with someone, and I'm like, ooh, okay. Maybe this friendship or this relationship isn't as good as it was. Humor for you. Yeah, bro.
超可愛いから頬染めんなほう。ああ、いいよ。俺も一人だしな。
やっ
The 81% of you guys said yes.
ぱ
Sigh.
り引きがやくん上手だね。
近い近い近い。
あのね、実はちょっと引きがやくんに相談があるんだけど。
相談ね。
うちのテニス部のことなんだけど、知ってるかな？すっごく弱いんだ。人数も少ないし、3年が引退したらもっと弱くなると思う。
Sure.
なるほど。
それで、引きがやくんさえ良ければ、テニス部に入ってくれないかな。
Not gonna lie. That recruitment strategy would have worked on me, boys. I would have fallen hard, boys. I ain't even gonna lie. I would have been like, oh yeah, no worries. You know, it's not like I have work until really late. And stream and theater. No, I'll just make fucking time. You know, I don't gotta go to dinner. You know, too manipulative for you, Crimson. How can you resist that?
無理ね。
いや無理ってお前さ。
無理なものは無理よ。
いや要は俺がテニス部のカンフル剤になればいいわけで、俺としては法支部を退部した後テニス部に入部すると見せかけて、
And then
そ
quit.
っちも少しずつフェードアウトしようと思っていたのだが、
あなたに集団活動ができるとでも思っているの？あなたみたいな生き物受け入れてもらえるはずがないでしょう。もっともあなたという共通の敵を得て部員が一致団結することはあるかもしれないわね。けれど排除するための努力をするだけで自身の向上に向けられる。
For Yukino, here's my question for you guys, and I'm bringing this up based out of just the way that she's communicating and talking, right? Let's go ahead and have a little bit of an aspect of self here. Yukino, she's going through it, and it rings in my direction. Like, number one, does she come from an upper middle class or rich family? Number two, what does her immediate family look like? What does her home look like? And we know for friendship wise, it's like, it's hard for her to expand in that regard. So it's making me wonder, what does her home and immediate family life look like in that regard? Where is she in that totality? The only reason why I ask this is because the more that I'm seeing her reactions and her, like the way that she communicates and whatnot, it reminds me a lot of some of the kids that used to come in for group therapy. Before I transitioned into the role that I'm currently in, there was a lot of kids that would come into group therapy, a lot of adolescents or teenagers. And I had one of them who was from an upper class family whose parents weren't really home, and dad had a lot of extreme expectations on them, and so they would shut off almost all communicative words, right? All emotion expressed words. So they would be talking to you, and they would be talking to you a very matter of fact, where everything has to go ahead and end with a certain dictation tone, because for them this is the way that they were able to go ahead and survive at home, because this is the only way that they'd be able to talk with dad, because this is the only way that they'd be able to go and associate themselves in that regard. It wasn't I feel, there was no I feel happy because of this. It was, that sounds like a very tough argument. You know, it was very much intellectualizing the outside environment, outside world, because that was how they needed to talk to their parents. That was how they needed to survive in their world at home. So whenever they went to school, they didn't really have a lot of friends, because the only way that they would talk was like an adult. So it makes me wonder, even her mom in that regard, it could be dad, it could be mom, it could be anyone. I was just using dad as an example in my case, because, you know, they would sit, they would be very much a reader. They cared about people, don't get me wrong. Empathy comes in many shapes and sizes. It doesn't all look the same for everyone, right? However, they wouldn't express it in the way most people would. And that, again, that comes from usually a strong deterrence or like a determination from home, from that home factor. And that's where I want to go ahead and go into. And I kind of want to dig in deep and be like, what does this home environment look like for you? She was an outcast in class and ousted because of her excellence. Family not shown yet. Yeah, forecast. But even then, my mind is fucking swirling at that because I'm like, ooh, okay. In school, we see that there's issues. But I want you guys to put on your clinical lens, your therapist and psychologist lens here for a moment. If they're having difficulties getting on at school, what does that say to you? If they're having difficulties making connections, talking with others, making genuine friendships, whatever, at school, what bell would that ring for you? For me, it would be like, is it just school? Because school, the way that you act in school and your coping mechanisms and skills that you have there usually come from home. You got to learn this stuff somewhere. You adapted this mentality, these skills that you bring with you to school from somewhere. You don't just come into school and be like, I'm a blank slate and I'm going to go ahead and like instantly grow this way. You come from either like previous aspects in middle school, junior high or whatever, or from family life. Yep. Anyway.
ことはないの。だから解決にはならないわ。ソースは私。
なるほどな。え、ソース？
私帰国子女なの。
Oh?
中学の時に編入したのだけれど、学校中の女子は私を排除しようと躍起になったわ。でも誰一人として私に負けないように自分。
Think about the way she talks to herself. The girls tried to eliminate me, but none of them tried to improve themselves to surpass me. Think about the way she's talking to herself. Why does she always have to be the best? Why do you always have to be a perfectionist? Why do you always have to be the best thing for you? Why do you have to be number one? But why? I want you guys to consider this. Why can she not be number two? What would that do to her if she came in as number two? If somebody were able to outrank her or outbeat her in a situation like this? It's expected of her because of shame. Because there's a concept of shame that was brought up at some point in time for her, where if she was not chosen, that shame is a very big thing. And I think we all deal with shame in different ways. But if shame plays a big factor, either through family dynamics, through social dynamics or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, I can't be good. Like I'm not worthy if I'm not number one. Someone beats you. That can take a toll on your self-esteem, on your ego, on whatever, right? I'm speaking about it and you fucking throw it up. Hell yeah, brother. So she's a very, very complex character. And I am loving this fucking show. Holy shit, bro. Like, I didn't think this show would explore, like, even narratively, even like the way that she's speaking to herself, this aspect. But no, none of them tried to improve themselves to surpass me. The question that I would ask is, how sure are you that you were the end goal? You know, that they were actually trying to go ahead and beat you? Or was this all part of your imagination? Was this all part of your cognitive distortion? That other people were trying to eliminate you because someone from a young age told you, if you don't go ahead and be number one, if you don't best yourself, if you're not the best one, other people will take that spot away from you.
学校中の女子は私を排除しようと躍起になったわ。でも誰一人として私に負けないように自分を高める人間はいなかった。あの低能とも。
Oh.
戸塚のためにもなんとかならんもんかね。
誰かの心配をするような人だったかしら。
いやほら、誰かに相談されたのって初めてだったんでついな。
何でもかんでも聞いて力を貸すばかりがいいとは限らないわ。
お前。
What are her cognitive distortions? This is very much a set list, but what are some cognitive distortions that we're seeing from her? I'm seeing one immediately. Catastrophication. Okay, which one? Magnification or minimization? I mean, she can be catastrophating. A person's lunch date is running late and assumes the worst. The worries quickly escalate and thoughts become exaggerated. Overgeneralization. Okay, a student receives a bad grade on one exam. Based on this, they think they're stupid and a failure and believe that all future exams they will get a bad grade as well. How about personalization? You attend the party, but all your friends are busy engaging with other people. You feel like they do not have any interest in being your friend and engaging in conversation with you. This makes you think that you don't belong and are being unfairly excluded. We can go into negative mental filtering as well, right? An employee receives a good performance review but focuses on one negative comment. Maybe polarized thinking. Yep. Exactly. Student who gets an A- on an exam feels like a failure because they're used to getting A+ grades only. They have the mentality, if I'm not successful at everything I do, I am a complete failure. I would agree with polarized thinking. I think polarized thinking is a great one. You can pick and choose and you can notice that these cognitive distortions, these like 15 cognitive distortions are pretty common. I think all of us have experienced at least one at some point. Because as much as we look at Hachiman as someone that has issues, we can look at her and be like, she has issues as well. And she has some issues that she needs to work through.
ならどうする？
そうね。全員死ぬまで走らせてから死ぬまで素振り、死ぬまで練習。
Until they die?
やっはろー。
Yeah, hello!
連れてきたよ。
引きがやくん、
戸塚？
Oh,
どうしてここに？
いや、俺は部活だけど、お前はなんで？
いやーほら、私も奉仕部の一員じゃん。だからちょっと働こうと思ってさ。そしたらさ、サイちゃんが困ってる風だったから連れてきたの。
由比ヶ浜さん。
I hope we get Chuni-san at some point in the episode. Kinda miss him already.
ユキの、俺とかそういうの全然いいから。部員として当たり前のことをしただけだし。
由比ヶ浜さん、別にあなたは部員ではないのだけれど。
違うんだ。
Oh,
よくわからんうちに部員になっているパターンじゃないのかよ。
ええ、入部届をもらっていないし、顧問の承認もないから部員ではないわね。
書くよ。入部届くらい
で、
何枚でも
戸塚彩花君だったかしら。
oh, oh.
いいでしょう。依頼を受けるわ。
It's so minimal, but it's
あなたの
amazing.
技術向上を助ければいいのよね。
はい、僕が上手くなればみんな一緒に頑張ってくれると。
Sure.
で、どうやんだよ。
さっき言ったじゃない。覚えてないの？
おい、まさかあれ本気で。
Ah. Yeah! Yeah, we see him! Hell yeah! Not those. Not those. Not those. We didn't see it. Not those. Yeah! Look at him. Look at my man over here. We see him. We see him, not them.
そんなこんなで日々が過ぎ、俺たちのテニスは第2フェーズに突入した。
Also, quick question for you guys as we're in the 10-minute mark here in the episode. Are we going to see Hachiman's family as well at some point in time? I'm really curious about his own dynamics, right? Like, does he have an older brother or older sister or whatever in that regard that, like, he's able to go and connect with? I assume so, yes? Okay, cool.
大丈夫だから続けて。
まだやるつもりなの？
We gotta get you some knee pads, Sai-chan. We gotta get you some knee pads, bro.
みんな付き合ってくれるからもう少し頑張りたい。
そう。じゃあ由比ヶ浜さん、あとは頼むわね。
なんかいつまで経っても上手くならないし呆れられちゃったかな。
それは
Oh,
ないと思うよ。ユキの、頼ってくる人を見捨てたりしないもん。
she's probably frustrated with
まあ
herself.
な、お前の料理に付き合うくらいだからな。
どういう意味だ。あー、テニスちゃん。ねえ、
Oh
こ
God.
こで遊んでいい？
三浦さん、
Oh
僕たちは
God.
別に遊んでるわけじゃなくて。
Episode number 3.
聞こえないんだけど。
ああ、ここは戸塚が許可取って使ってるものだから他の人は無理なんだ。
はあ？あんたも使ってんじゃん。
いや、俺は練習に付き合ってて業務委託っつうかアウトソーシングなんだよ。
はあ、何意味わかんないこと言ってんの？キモいんだけど。
まあまあ喧嘩越しになんなって、みんなでやった方が楽しいしさ。
みんな？
Oh no. This girl's tone just makes me want to slap her. Actually, how many of you guys genuinely dislike this girl? Because of her tonality, the way that she carries herself, and even the fact that, like, everything has to revolve around her, right? But also, I'm wondering for Hachiman-kun, specifically, how long until he starts fearing these connections that he's making? How long until he starts going ahead and putting himself in the center of even having to go ahead and overstep boundaries to maintain the connections that he has or to try and save an aspect of something he cares about? How long until he starts literally, like, becoming the bad guy, becoming the villain? Oftentimes individuals that have isolation tendencies, maybe an anxious attachment that they're fighting, right? That they're like anxiously want to attach to someone, but at the same time they're trying to be avoidant. I don't want to connect with anyone, but really they anxiously want to attach to someone. They'll go to great lengths to try and go ahead and keep that relationship alive, to try and keep that relationship stable. What will they do? They'll step out like, oh, people are having issues. They'll take the blame if they have to, as long as they're able to go ahead and mitigate the relationship at hand. As long as you're able to go ahead and keep everyone happy in some way, shape, or form. Others happy. Why? Because I'm bad. I deserve to be punished. I don't care if other, like, you know, I want this, like, you guys to keep your relationships fine. But, like, I can deal with loneliness. I can deal with people being mad at me. I can deal with overstepping boundaries and getting hurt in the process. As long as you guys are okay, I don't mind being hurt. I don't mind fucking taking the blame. I don't, like, you hear all of this and it's like he's stabbing himself in that sense. So that's sort of what it's making me think. I've dealt with a lot of people who, like, this shit can escalate quickly. I'm used to it. Exactly. This shit can escalate way too quickly. And if you don't have people calling you out and stopping you and being like, hey, you know what? Like, let's put up appropriate mechanisms. Where are the teachers at? Let's go have somebody else deal with the situations. It can turn into you literally trying to take charge in situations where it can be a lot of self-harm. Into situations where that cognitive distortion can grow out of proportion and then you just personalize everything. How many of you have done that at some point? I have. Straight up, I have. How many of you guys have said, I'll fix you, even though you know it was bad, that you shouldn't have been in there? Or I can do that, even though you know you shouldn't have fucking done that. Like, that was too much for you. Anyway.
母ちゃんにみんな持ってるよって物ねだるときに言うみんなかよ。誰だよそいつら。友達いないからそんな言い訳使えたことねえよ。
そういうつもりで言ったわけじゃないんだ。なんかごめんな。悩んでるなら相談に乗るからさ。
はやもお前の優しさは嬉しい。性格がいいのもよくわかった。サッカー部のエースでその上お顔までよろしいじゃないですか。さぞや女性に表になられるんでしょうな。
いきなりなんだよ。
Think about what he's doing. Think about what he's doing right now. He's literally going ahead and like switching the dynamics in here so that anger can become like he becomes the center point of their conversation. The way he just flipped the power dynamics in here to him attacking him.
そんないろいろと持ってるお前が何も持ってない俺からテニスコートまで奪う気なの？人として恥ずかしいと思わないの？
その通りだ。早まん。
Oh no, Chunikun.
貴様のしていることは人倫。
Chunikun. Chunikun. He just needed to come in here and fucking elevate it. Just skyrocket it up, man.
最低の行動だ。
二人揃うと卑屈さと鬱陶しさが倍増する。ねえ隼人、足いい加減テニスしたいんだけど。
じゃあこうしよう。部外者同士俺と引谷君で勝負する。勝った方が今後休みはここを使えるってことで。もちろん練習にも付き合う。強いやつと練習した方が戸塚のためにもなるし、いいかな。
何それ超楽しそう。じゃあいっそ混合ダブルスにすればいいじゃん。
A mixed doubles.
頭いいんだけど。
まずいぞ。ボチ野郎で寿命のお前に手を貸してくれる女子など皆無。どうする？
Oh my god. I'm like a genius. I want a fucking drop kicker. I believe in equality. Slams table. Oh my god. She's got nothing on Marin. Marina. Oh no, why?
ボチ野郎で寿命のお前に手を貸してくれる女子など皆無。どうする？
私やるよ。
はあ？
いやー、なんていうの？私も星部入ったし、ならやるでしょ普通。
ばっかやめとけっつーの。三浦お前のことガン見してんぞ。
嘘マジ？
ゆい、あんたさ、やるって、あーしとやるってことなんだけど、そういうことでいいわけ？
そういうわけってことでもないけど、私部活も大事だから。
Even the way that she's responding, I'm like, Why accept to compete against them for their court on their terms? Sai doesn't need several training partners, so there was no reason to make it a 2v2 in the first place. He is supposed to train, and they're not letting him do this by accepting the stupid challenge. Plus, they only decided on this challenge to get what they wanted because they think that they will win. So they probably won't even concede their loss if they... There's other methods. I would be throwing hands already. Yeah. There's other methods of dealing with this situation. But in hands like this, you also have to think about it. They're teenagers. Teenage brain is a little pepega for most people, if we're going to be honest about it. Someone call a teacher. Exactly, Letta. Exactly.
めっちゃ強いじゃん。
だってユミコ中学の時ジョテニで県選抜選ばれてるし。
縦ロールは伊達じゃないということか。
あれゆるふわウェーブだけどね。
It's a light perm. Hey, yo.
大丈夫か。
ごめん、ちょっとひねっちゃったかも。負けたらサイちゃん困るよね。
あれだ。もうお前コートの中にいるだけでいい。あとは俺がどうにかする。
どうするの？
まあ最悪本気出すよ。俺が本気出せば土下座も靴舐めも余裕でできる。
本気の出し方間違ってるし。ちょっと待ってて。
So how much does Hachiman value himself? And this is another area that comes through with it, right? Which is how much self-worth or self-value do you place on yourself in that regard? We know how much he hates the social hierarchy and the aspects of connection with others, even though he so desperately wants to connect with others. But is he willing to destroy himself in the process of trying to save others? I can save you, Brady. I can be there for you. I'll lick everyone's shoes. Ooh, Brady, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. Ooh, you know, I gotta, you know, like... guys, I want to become the center of hatred for everyone because I want to go ahead and like have everyone just love me and you know, in that regard. But that's why I'm trying to highlight it, because for me, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to pay attention to this, and I'm like, so then this concept of love and self-love like comes into question, right? Which is, does Hachiman understand in that aspect to connect with others? Others can help lift you up, don't get me wrong. You can connect with others in every regard, but at the same time, is he open, genuinely open to connecting with others in a way where he can be vulnerable, or is he going to be scared? Is he actually going to be fucking terrified to open up with these people on a deeper level, just like the relationships he says he wants to have? Because right now he's keeping everything, you know, oh, I can help you, but at a superficial level, even though he's willing to throw it all away just for this superficiality that we're seeing. He actually takes some pride in being self-deprecating. Yeah, but is that helpful or is that not helpful?
Yui, どうしたん？喧嘩しちゃった？見捨てられちゃった？
バカ言え。今まで喧嘩なんてしたことねえよ。そもそも喧嘩するほど深く関わった友達がいねえっつうの。自虐ネタってある程度の親密度がないと本気で惹かれるんだな。まあどっちにせよ、そろそろ土下座かな。こびるときはプライドを捨ててこびること。それが俺のプライド。俺の本気見せてやるよ。
このバカ騒ぎは何？
What is she gonna be, a goddess as well? Like no one's gonna be able to fucking beat her because she has to be number one? Oh. Also, that quick change is insane.
なんで私が？
だってこんなの頼める友達ユキの一人だけなんだもん。友達。
後で傷の手当てを。保健室の先生が見当たらず、思わぬ時間を取られてしまったわ。
ありがとう。
やっぱりユキの優しいね。
どこかの男は氷の女王だなんて陰で呼んでいるみたいだ。
Best Girl is fucking changing wildly for me, bro. Best Girl is fucking like bing, 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 bing. Although we need fucking Sensei in here, because Sensei's... Sensei's amazing, but like best girl has me like, a fucking roller coaster, brother. They're all fucking best girl here. Sensei's in another fucking TV, barely episode 3.
まあ誰に何と思われようと構わないな。だから、友達と思われるのも別に構わないけれど、あんまりくっつかないでくれるかしら。暑苦しい。
雪下さんだっけ？悪いけど足手加減とかできないから。
私は手加減してあげるから安心してもらっていいわ。安いプライドを粉々にしてあげる。
God damn.
ずいぶん私のうちの部員をいたぶってくれたようだけれども、覚悟はできているかしら。
Although, then this brings up another question. If you haven't had friends in a long time, it takes a while to adjust to saying friends. It takes a while to go ahead and acknowledge the fact that you do have people that you can connect with. You know, like, not comfortable to say friend. Yeah, because it's scary, man. Like, are they really your friend, or is it only circumstantial in that regard? And this is probably something that's running through her mind as well, right? And through a lot of people's minds. Like, I have friends. I have amazing friends. I have people IRL that I go and hang out with, Brady being one of them. Sakis, one of the mods. We fucking hang out from time to time whenever we're out and about. If you guys know me, in case you guys are like, oh, well, he's a fucking streamer or whatnot. Bro, if you guys are ever around my area, I'm like, let's go grab a beer. Let's go hang out. Let's go talk. Let's go for fucking dinner or whatnot. I don't mind having like in-depth conversations. We usually have a fucking blast. Like how you see me on screen is pretty much how I am in person, that we can just fucking have free flow talk. But for some people, if they haven't had connections in a while, are they afraid to make genuine connections? Are they afraid to genuinely speak out? Okay, I'll put it this way. I'll use 2 examples. Congratulations, you're all VTubers starting today. Guess what? The company that you just started working with might graduate you at any time. Will you make genuine connections and friendships, or are these strategic, surface-level connections and friendships? Sounds like we're all working for Niji. Wait, what the fuck is Niji, bro? I'm not much into the VTuber world. I have a lot of VTuber friends, right? A lot of VTuber content creators. But the reason why I bring this up is because even in IRL or whatnot, you do have situations like this where people can pretend to be your friends, and it's only a superficial level of friendship. And at the moment that they need to, they'll cut you off. Or like another thing, right? Where it's like, ooh, I'm a single individual here. Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, like selling an image of myself out there, right? But behind the scenes, it's like, oh yeah, no man, I'm married, I have 8 kids, blah, 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 right? Like trying to go ahead and form a different version of myself for what's presented on here versus what's presented to others. With that, one of the key aspects that I wanted to bring up is there's different elements of presentation that we do for others. So, for your friends, how comfortable are you when they first become your friend? What does it take for someone to go from being an acquaintance to someone being a friend for you? What is that deciding line or the deciding variable for you? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? Is it an emotion? Is it time? What is it? And anyway, I don't know what the fuck's going on with the VTuber drama or VTuber thing. Luckily that I'm not in a fucking corporation or anything like that. I can't be graduated. So cheers to that.
結構根に持つタイプよ。
見たまんまそういうタイプだお前は。
Yeah, she kind of does. When is your face reveal? Oh shit.
お前今のよく返せたな。
だって彼女、私に嫌がらせしてくる時の同級生と同じ顔をしていたもの。
God damn.
あの手の人間の下水考えくらい飲みと。
God damn. You didn't have to fucking. Ooh, that roast. God.
いや、ジャンピングサーブ。
Get owned. GG, easy. Easy clap. I didn't know this was a PvE. Just fucking start going through like
その調子で軽く決めちゃえよ。
Easy.
もできればそうしたいのだけれど、それは無理な相談ね。私、体力にだけは自信がないの。
Oh.
聞こえてんですけど、なんかしゃしゃってくれたけど、さすがにもう終わりっしょ。
Yup.
お互いよく頑張ったってことで引き分けにしない？
隼人、何言ってんの？試合だからマジで片付けないとまずいっしょ。
その方はこの男がつけるから。
Don't say that. Don't fight.
私、暴言も失言も吐くけれど、虚言だけは吐いたことがないの。
You know, all the pressure. You know, I'm gonna start up some shit in here, come in and fucking get you all the way to the Grandmaster lobby, and then at the very end, you know, even though you're a bronze player, I'm gonna be like, this man right here, this YouTube viewer right here, they're gonna carry us. We ain't gonna do shit. This person right here is gonna carry all the pressure on that.
もうじき昼休みが終わる。
Do it,
いつもなら
Hachiman.
ベストプレイスで飯を食い終わっている頃だ。
I know, change is interesting.
三浦、お前は知らない。昼下がり、この付近でのみ発生する。
Oh no,
潮風
the five head.
葉山、お前は知らない。この風が吹くのは一度だけじゃないことを。あそこでただ一人、誰と喋るでもなく静かに過ごしていた俺だけが撃てる。俺の魔球。
He's over here like, I'm gonna take a potato chip. What you don't understand is, as I'm grabbing this potato chip, I'm thinking about the ways to defeat you. I know that at this certain time, you guys are watching me on your computer or cell phone. And I know that at this point in time, there's a particular wind that picks up going exactly east for just 1 second. And it gets even better. It's a fucking full-on monologue through it. The wind blows. It flows to your defeat. That's so wonderful. Sorry, I got way too into it, brother. I got way too into it. Sorry, brother.
風を言うまで操る伝説の技、風を継ぐ者オイレンシルフィード。
ありえないし。
やられた。本当に魔球だな。
お前さ、小さい頃野球って何人でやってた？
あ、普通18人だろ？
だよな。でも俺は一人でよくやってたぜ。
Hachiman, it's okay to play with yourself, man. There's elements of, you know, there's a difference as to when to bring it up, though. And he's proud. I know, and he's proud of it. That's an aspect of talking about it. Bleak backstory is a humor bit. Yeah, but oftentimes you can use that, right? Because, for example, how many of you have gone through something in your past that may be bleak, that now looking back at it, like you joke about it because it's a form of that you've coped with it, right? That you've gone through with it, either a serious moment or not. Like, how many of you guys at some point in time had difficulty finding food to eat? You know, food in general. I have. Like, for a good portion in time, like back in the day, it was essentially either ramen noodles, skipping food, or hot dogs, because that's all I could afford for a good period of time there, for like a couple months or whatnot, especially when fucking COVID shit was hitting and everything was going really bad. It was like, you know, essentially trying to go ahead and like maintain food as much as possible. And now I either got to be in a special mood to try and like eat some type of ramen or some type of food, or I joke about it, right? Which is, oh yeah, I can fucking eat a hamburger for like, you know, a standard $1 cheeseburger for 90 days or 120 days for 4 months without any issues, like almost every day. Yeah, of course I could do that. It's an easy challenge or whatever. Sometimes you joke about aspects that, like, for other people, it might be traumatic. It could be an acute stress incident as well, right? That's where that, like, you know, we are resilient towards our environment and we're able to grow from it.
俺はどんなことも一人で切り抜けてきたんだ。お前らが誰かとあれこれ言い合ったり、慰め合ったりしている時も、俺は一人で全て真っ向から受け止めてきたんだ。どうよこの最強っぷり。
青春のバカ野郎。
My dude just fucking making random names up.
これなら一人でも投げて打って取って遊ぶことができる。
何それ。
ユミコ下がれ。
Get played. Easy. Hey, at this point, you gotta have situational awareness of your fucking field, bro. You gotta know where you're running to. Like, you gotta know where the boundaries are as to what's going in there. You know, I feel vindicated.
試合に勝って勝負に負けたというところかしらね。
ヒッキー勝ったのに空気扱いってガチで可愛い。
You see, I wouldn't be cheering. I'd be like, you don't know where the offense is? You're not... And they become heroes, right?
悪いけど離れてくれるかしら、暑苦しい。
引きヶ谷君、ありがとう。
何このラブコメ展開。女と女とか男と男とかラブコメの神様ってバカしかいねえのかよ。俺は別に何もしてないよ。例ならあいつらに。
Which brings up an interesting question. I'm going to throw this out there to you. To be Kawabi would. If you guys say that you guys, Papi Ed, Wizard Ed, give you guys a magical power here. You guys can now see a person's romance level or their flag or whatever. You can see everything from connections, breakups, death, so on and so forth, right? With these special glasses I give you. You put them on and you're able to go ahead and see anything and everything in that regard. How many of you guys feel like either that would be too overwhelming or that for you guys it might harm you or it might hurt you to go ahead and see whether or not someone's falling in love with you or falling out of love with you? There's an anime of that, so is there? Holy shit. Well, I was gonna say, because psychologically that's a fucking... Hey, yo.
そうだよな。やっぱり青春ラブコメはこうでなきゃ。やるじゃん、ラブコメの神様。
引き金君、大丈夫？
Oh. Oh. All right, guys, we got this ending credit scene. Let's see what's going on here.
変なメールが来たからわって思っただ
Hold
け。
on, hold on. We'll let this play out and then we'll
内容が
talk.
セクハラ前提で、しかも犯人扱い。証拠を出せ、証拠。
犯人分かっちゃったかも。
俺はあいつらの中に犯人がいるなんて思いたくない。
友達のためにみんな一歩引いてる感じ。来ましたわ。
お兄ちゃん。
謎はすべて解けた。
So,
次回、つまり彼は友達が少ない。
actually, interesting question. Hey, do you guys want to be friends? Oh, but like one of the key elements that's coming into my mind from all of this is what is like the optimal level of number of friends for you to have, right? Like what is the actual amount that you can handle, realistically speaking, and that like you feel like you can invest yourself into. So we're talking about superficiality, right? And depth. We can all have 1,001 superficial friends, but how many friendships can you actually go in depth with? Like, how vulnerable can you genuinely be to reach down here and feel comfortable with that amount? 3 close, 5 superficial, 3 or 5. Yeah, for some people, it's limited down here, right? For other people, like extreme extroverts, they often feel like their superficial friends, right? At times, not everyone, are their in-depth friends because that's as vulnerable as people like to be. So, from that, have you ever been burnt out from the number of friends that you've had? We could rate absolute things for the warm welcome. 110%. This is like a home away from home. I always tell people that it's a good safe space for anyone to be able to go ahead and talk and communicate and go into 1,001 other aspects in that. So, for you guys, right? What would you guys, in that realm, if we were to go into this, we're talking about superficiality and death. Would you say the current you is different from the high school you or younger you? What lessons do you wish the younger version of you would have learned, would have picked up on sooner that current you knows? Whether that's caring more about the friends that you have or stop focusing on superficiality or whatnot, what would you take away from that? Not Bitcoin. We're not going back in time and talking about buying Apple stocks or Bitcoin or any of that. Like, in terms of friendships, what do you wish you would have learned earlier? This episode actually really stood out to me because we're starting to see a little bit more of a dynamic present here, right? We're starting to see a little bit more of the relationship dynamic start to go and start turning in this. One of the aspects that I fear going forward is we're about to see a lot more self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice comes from aspects of not fully loving yourself. Self-sacrifice comes from aspects of shame, comes from aspects of thinking that that is the only solution that you have, i.e., I'll fix her. I'll literally grovel on the ground for this person, and I'll try and make sure that they surpass me and that they're the best thing that they can be. You can go ahead and help someone, absolutely. However, I'm not going to be here and paint myself as a villain just so that other people can have a relationship. I'm not going to come in here and literally get everyone to hate me just so that other people can go ahead and start succeeding in whatever like relationships they want to form. Because that's self-sacrifice of, hey, I want to go ahead and do everything I can in that matter, either take the heat off of you or whatever, comes at a point where it's costing you your own self-esteem, your own value. So with that being said, I'm going to ask this as a big group question. I know my thing fell, but whatever. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most, 0 being nothing, how much do you love yourself? How much do you feel like you deserve what you have currently in life? Even though we've seen them surrounded by people. Yeah. Well, I mean, that question aligns with, like, do you feel, some people it's 7, 8. Yeah. 7, 8. With some people, it's like, are you truly making connections, even as a content creator? Or are there just names popping up, right? For some people, the bigger the chat gets, the lonelier it gets for them, right? 8, a bit more, but I don't want to go too low. Sure. No worries. You guys can be at 7, 8s. I'll be honest. There's some days where I'm a 5. There are other days where I'm a 9. It's depending on however I feel that day. That's just me being very real. Waking up and having a bit of an imposter syndrome can affect us in that regard. I have a roller coaster of how it feels and it weighs heavily on how successful I feel. 6, a lot of people, are in this regard. So my question is going to be this. Wherever you land on this, you could be at a 0, you can be at a 1, you can be at a 2, you could be wherever you want to be on this thing. What would it genuinely take for you to go from a 5 to a 6, from a 7 to an 8? What would it take for you to take that next step up? And I want you guys to genuinely ask yourself that question. What would it take for me to feel a little bit happier in my life at the moment? That is a question that I would ask Hachiman. I would ask him right now, how much do you love yourself? If you're at a 0, why? And that's just a natural aspect of enlightenment. As I said, Hachiman needs therapy. A lot of these fucking characters that we watch and we observe do need some type of therapy or psychological services, mental health services. But does he want that? I mean, he genuinely wants to connect, as we've seen, even though he puts on a facade about it. But that's the interesting question there. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts below. So good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Guys, if you guys are on YouTube, wherever they edit this, the editors are fucking amazing. Make sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Holy shit. Make sure to let me know if you guys have graduated from Nijisanji. I'm kidding. Please don't. I don't know any fucking VTuber drama. Apparently, me saying graduation triggered some people. So please, I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you guys are practicing that self-care. And I'll see you guys next time on YouTube.